It's the Schick Show. It's the Schick Show.
It's the Schick Show.
Welcome, everybody. Today I am with my niece, Amber Schick, and my brother, Joe Schick. We are talking about Princess Diana, her death, and, well, the conspiracy that may surround it. Is there a conspiracy? Is there not? We're going to find out today. It's crazy. All right, let's call Joe. I want to make sure this works. I haven't done this yet. I haven't had a call in of some sort. But we're recording right now, just so you know. I started recording as soon as I sat down.
Oh, yeah, you just make your edits.
Mm-hmm. And Joe should come through on our headphones.
Okay. Oh, I hear it ringing.
Yeah? Isn't that funny?
Cut that part out.
Yeah. No, I'll leave it. It's going to be part of the whole deal. What's going on?
Not mom.
All right, I'm going to turn you up a little bit. All right?
Okay.
All right. Amber, you got to put that mic close. I'm not going to tell you 5 more times.
It's there.
You're either going to be in the fucking game or you're not.
What? Hey, Amber. So what is she right
Hey,
there?
hey, Joe.
So Amber's sitting here with me, and so, my thought was, Amber, I don't know if you noticed or not, Amber's a little bit of a conspiracy theorist.
No, I hadn't.
Oh, okay. Well, if you follow her any on Facebook, you'll know that there are conspiracies a little bit about everything going on in Amber's life. Amber, you a conspiracy person?
Yeah, I don't put them much on Facebook, though. As much.
It was out there for a while. Like, we had some stuff going on about the Chris Cornell's death. That was
that
one.
was 2020. I didn't have anything else going on.
See, that's what I'm saying. Well, I know it's been a little bit, but so I'm wondering if there's conspiracy about Facebook. Is that something that's happening?
Conspiracies about Facebook.
Yeah. Do you believe there's conspiracies about Facebook where Facebook is following us and like tracking all our movements?
They suppress a lot of stuff that I post.
They do?
Oh, yeah.
Like, what do you mean? If you post it, they suppress it?
Yeah, I can tell because some stuff I'll get like all these likes, comments, but then if you put certain things on there, it's like nobody sees it because there's no likes, no.
Maybe nobody likes it.
Yeah, but you could put an angry face or something.
Have you ever thought about maybe that being a possibility? Maybe somebody just doesn't like it.
No, there's angry faces. They could comment like this is dumb or.
Well, so Joe, the reason we called you is I was thinking about so Amber and I were talking last night at our little family cookout at Bill and Carrie's, and we started having a discussion, and I said, "Oh my God, you need to come to the house tomorrow. We're going to do a podcast. We're going to talk about conspiracy theories." And she said, "Well, what do you want to talk about?" And I said, "I don't know." And even to today, we were still doing this until about an hour ago, right? You sent me a text, and you got to say words on here. People can't see you shake your head, but works a lot better when your voice is heard. But so about an hour ago, she texted me and said, "Hey, what are we going to talk about?" I said, "We're going to talk about Princess Di. We could talk about what did I say? Do you remember the 3 I threw out there at you?"
You said Princess Di, JFK, and the Illuminati.
Yeah, so, the JFK thing, there's been some evidence come out about the JFK. So, I mean, it's obvious that there are things that happen. And we talked a little bit about this last night. In our world, they tried to hide that FDR was in a wheelchair, for crying out loud,
Right.
They tried to hide UFOs and evidence is coming out now. There was recently a pilot talking about how he recorded this tic-tac shaped UFO and tracked it for quite some time. And it's on video. It's out there on YouTube. But he was talking to Joe Rogan about how he tracked this thing. I can't remember the guy's name now. I'm going to look it up while we're talking. But so clearly governments have the ability to cover some things up if they want to.
Right. All the
Joe, do you follow us
documents.
with that?
Yeah, I would definitely agree that there could be conspiracies with JFK.
So one of the things that came to my mind was that in 1997, I think it was August 31st, 1997. Is that the date, Joe?
I believe so, yes.
So in Amber, they can't see the paper either.
No, I was showing you. I was like, yeah, I wrote it down.
Oh.
I wrote like when they got married, the day
Oh, wow.
when they got divorced, the day she died.
When did they get divorced?
August 29th, 1996.
We're talking a year. I didn't realize it was that soon. I thought they had been divorced much longer than that. Wow. That kind of okay. Man, that makes me question some more things. So, just for everybody listening, I I have a thought that it's possible, and there's many reasons for this because I'm a questioner. Number one, I'm the youngest, and I think that a lot of times the youngest child is always questioning everything, right? But I think it's possible that the Princess Diana was her death was not an accident. Any thoughts on that?
I don't see how that could be, schemed up for them to get so many different paparazzi to chase her and her car in the tunnel. And also, they would have to know what time they're leaving, where they're at. They would have to know everything. And I think that would be something very hard to suppress, coming up with that kind of scheme to ensure that somebody is murdered or killed by the crown.
So you're saying that
And also,
it's possible. It's just the complexities and the details of it. It would be
and even the driver of the car. I mean, who willingly wants to plow into a support beam of a underground tunnel at 100 miles an hour? Knowing, what's your thoughts of living on that? I mean, you're not going to survive something like that, really.
yeah.
But
Uh,
the driver did survive.
But also, though, to agree to do it, you would almost have to be suicidal.
is just thinking outside of the box. I mean, 'cause just the possibilities, and I'm bringing this up because recently, is it Prince Harry? Prince Harry came out with the book Spare. Are you guys, Amber? Have you heard about this book?
No.
Joe, I know you have. We talked about it a little bit, and Jennifer read the book Spare. I have not read it, but the conversation Jennifer and I had about the book was that Harry was often referred to as the Spare, meaning he is the spare, like a spare tire, a spare
Yeah,
king, a spare,
yeah.
heir to the throne. Well, if someone is openly talked about, like a human being, your child, like she talked about his dad, Edward, right? Edward, is that Harry's dad?
Charles?
Charles. Yeah,
Oh,
sorry. My brain isn't working. Talking about Charles, openly calling him the spare, his own child. I just think that's really bizarre that, someone would call their child the spare for one. I was often talked about as the favorite, but that's different because I was the favorite.
yeah, and you weren't born into royalty.
True. Um, I was Chestnut Street royalty, but we can get into that later. So my whole point here is you have people with a huge responsibility to take care of the crown, which is always in question. Like they're always under the highest scrutiny of being the royal family. Princess Diana didn't fit the mold of being a good steward of all of um the rules that came along with being part of the crown, right?
Correct. Yeah, she didn't like being told to sit back and be quiet,
Yeah, so
and they had far too many rules, I think, for her. And that would be a tough life to go into. Your whole world completely changes, and everything that you do is scrutinized.
and considering that Charles, um, honestly, from watching some documentaries, watching a couple docu series about it, I don't know that he was ever in love with her.
No, I think it was always about Camilla, but he couldn't have Camilla because of the rules of the crown.
So then again, Diana's aware of that.
Yeah, they met when she was 19. Like, his parents, I think, introduced them, and then they were married at 20. The family didn't approve of Camilla because she'd already been divorced and she was older than him, and and whatnot. So I saw that.
So there's some strain there, right? So, Joe, you've openly said, "Hey, I don't believe they could have done that." But boy, the amount of control they had over everything else. Uh,
I
you're
still think it would be a little far-fetched for them to orchestrate it. And then also the Crown really frowned on negative press towards them. They really never wanted anything bad about them put out there.
so with that in mind, Amber, you had some notes you jotted down, just thinking about the negative press potential of Princess Di continuing her life moving forward, having two boys that were heir to the crown. Did you? Am I wrong? Did you not take some notes about this?
I took some. Some of it we already covered.
Yeah. So there was rumor that she was pregnant. Now, when they did the autopsy, they had said, no, she wasn't pregnant. Listen, folks, no doubt in my mind, they can cover that up.
Yeah, I think that's definitely something they could cover up, report that she's pregnant, because it wouldn't have been an heir to the throne or any affiliation with the throne.
And didn't she just come out and say something about she had a big announcement coming in the weeks ahead, maybe not long before this happened. Do you remember?
That I do not remember.
I'm pretty sure she was dating someone. I think he was a Muslim, and this
Yeah.
person. Am I right? I'm just checking because it's been a minute.
Yes.
So she's dating a Muslim man, which would not be approved by the crown in any way, shape, or form. Um, there's rumor prior to this that it may be a pregnancy announcement or a marriage announcement. Now you got the potential that she could come out and say, "Yep, the potential king of England, which would be her boys, whether it be Harry or I'm having a moment again, William, their stepdad could be a Muslim, which would be way off the reservation for the royal family." Ah,
I would say that's press that they probably wouldn't want out there. So yes, they would want to cover that up. But I
is,
still feel it's a little much for them to orchestrate her being murdered in that
sure.
car wreck.
And that's my question. I was just getting ready to ask: is that death worthy? Is that killing someone worthy? And I don't know, but
I think with all of the scandals that they had go on in that family, that this would just be another thing that the press will report on it and then it'll be swept under the rug. I don't think it would have been something that they would have you know wanted to have her off for.
I did read that Diana wrote a note in 1985 that said Charles was planning an accident that would happen when Diana was in her car, that there would be like brake failure and head injury that would lead to her death.
what?
Like she had some sort of premonition or something of it.
So she had her own conspiracy theories going on in her head.
So she had wrote this note that
Yeah, in 1985 or 1995.
so a couple years before. That's a little bit. I mean, that's pretty specific. So is there any proof to that, or is it just rumored? Has anybody produced that?
It was in some sort of interview or something. I came across a lot of different interviews and documentaries that are out there that I haven't seen yet, so I want to go back and watch all those and see if there's any new information from the ones I've seen previously.
Interesting. Well, I'll tell you where I stand with it. I think the royal family has the ability. I think they have the
motive is there.
that's it. I think they have the motive. I think they have the. I think it could be possible. Did they? I don't know. I'm not ready to convict, but
I'm in that it's a high possibility that it could have happened.
I mean, the driver is supposedly a part of the controversy. Joe, you'd mentioned, that he would have to have some sort of suicidal, you know, suicidal thoughts or something. But it's said that the alcohol level in his blood, the other conspiracy theorists suggested the sample was taken from a suicide victim, not the driver. And they believe that he may have been sober that night.
And that could be too, because when all that is happening, there's so much going on, and everybody's wanting the information pronto. So they could easily mess up and get um, samples or tests mixed up. But I still think it's just not plausible for the way that she died.
Sure. And
Had she died a different way than a gunshot, a mysterious
man.
death, poisoning, then definitely I would probably go along with conspiracy theory. But being chased in that tunnel by all those paparazzi, that's where I just feel that it's not plausible.
I read she was pulled out of the car still conscious. I need to follow up on more
Really? Yeah, I wasn't aware of that.
sources for that. But due to some other things,
Yep.
she ended up ultimately dying.
Yeah, she was very conscious, and then what they say that she died from was an internal bleed that they hadn't detected. So
that's really interesting.
So essentially, she must have probably bled out. I haven't seen the autopsy report. But if she had an internal bleed and they didn't detect it, then I believe that's how she passed away.
Well,
and also, there's a thing too where people are traumatized, where people fall and so forth. It creates a blood clot also that I've read up on, and it can hit you at any time, just like an aneurysm.
Interesting. Well, I'm going to go back to the driver. There was someone that eyewitnesses had said that he had been drinking that night, and the numerous blood tests confirmed, and I'm reading this from the History Channel, that the blood test confirmed the elevated presence of alcohol in his system, said to be 3 times over the French legal limit. So the dude's drunk.
I found another article, and so just, I guess, whichever one you find, that sources that know him say he was very responsible and never would have driven the car if he had been drinking. But then another thing I saw said that there was alcohol in his system, but not enough to be considered drunk. That's what some of these things get really difficult, because there's so much contradictory stuff out there.
Well, that's my hardest part with any conspiracy theory, is there's your story, their story, and then somewhere in the middle there's the truth.
Right, and some of these, like, you can find multiple sources that you would consider to be credible that are saying opposite things. Like, you would like to think the History Channel is credible.
I would think so. I mean, I would think that they would vet, all the information that comes in. And if they're saying that there's an eyewitness that he had been drinking that night, and that numerous blood tests have confirmed that he had elevated presence of alcohol in his system, I would think, it's not like Wikipedia or, there's other conspiracy theory things out there. I can't think of the names of them right now, but different places where it's like, okay, who's really behind this?
Yeah, I don't do Wikipedia, because anyone can go in there and change and make edits, so it's not really...
True. And Joe, coming back to you, talking about the paparazzi, I haven't found anything where, there's been some people that have hinted around that the paparazzi were involved. But, they're flashing their cameras and speeding up, and I can see where if his blood alcohol was, if he was driving drunk, where like, I'm just going to run through this tunnel and get away from him, and things just get a little bit blurry as you're going in there, and he crashes.
But if the guy was so drunk, you would think that Princess Di and her boyfriend wouldn't get in the vehicle with them. Or
I would also think
why go
that,
so fast? Just
I would think
paparazzi,
that
they're around all the time.
servants to people like that, drivers, people who work in the house, whatever, servants of people that magnitude have a high respect of people who they're working for. And I think they also have a high respect of the magnitude of the responsibility that they have. I really don't believe that he would have been of drinking, or he might have had one drink, but I don't believe that he would have been drunk,
Mhm.
because I just their commitment, I think, to who they're serving.
I think that's a good point.
Mhm.
Uh, I think there's a lot of validity to that. I wonder if there is. This is where I need an intern. I keep asking for an intern on various episodes that I've had. Well, sorry, sods that I've had. We've coined that term on the Schick Show. This is a real Schick show, by the way. My niece Amber Schick is here, and my brother Joe Schick is on the phone with us, talking about this. Now, Joe is someone I bring on because the night that this happened, um, Joe was at my house. So me and Jennifer had just gotten married, maybe 2 months before. We were married June 28th. So yeah, we're 2 months into our marriage. She's pregnant, and Joe and his wife at the time, were both the kids with you?
Yes.
So they're at our house staying with us, and this
Glued to
happens.
the TV.
Glued, absolutely.
Yeah.
And Jennifer and I are downstairs watching TV, and Joe and his family are upstairs. And I just remember Joe coming down. We're watching it on TV, and um, I can't remember. Did I tell you that, or did you hear it? I can't remember. I don't think we had a TV upstairs.
No, you didn't, and we didn't have the information at our fingertips like this. So it's something that I probably walked into.
Yes.
I don't remember how of it, but I do know that we were at your house, the TV, and we didn't want to leave, and we had a 2-hour drive ahead of us, and we didn't want to leave because I wanted to see what all was going on, and I wanted to hear the whole story.
Yeah. So Joe sticks around. And I just remember how shocked you were that this all happened. And you were a big enough fan that it mattered. Where I'll be honest, Joe, yeah, I cared, but I didn't have that kind of relationship with Princess Di and the royal family.
Well,
Uh,
I think I was as heartbroken as our mother was when Elvis died.
I think you're absolutely right. I felt that. We definitely felt that, and that's why I called you, or messaged you. Was, hey, if we're going to talk about this, I got to bring Joe into the picture because, as Amber said, she is a conspiracy person, so she's off in this, questioning and believes there could be, or strongly believes there is, a conspiracy revolving around it. I believe there could be, but I also understand accidents happen. And, when I messaged you, it seemed clear that you were like, I don't think the royal family did this. But I'm telling you, man, I've got a lot of questions. And I wish I'd have asked them a lot sooner because, we're at 1997 to now, we're 26-ish years, coming up on 26 years in a couple weeks of this happening. Yeah, my gosh, we are literally like 3 weeks away from 18 days. 18 days from the 26th year anniversary of this. So, listeners, this probably won't be hitting you for a minute until after the anniversary is eclipsed, but I think there's a lot of questions. And I think people have poured over it over time, but I still have questions. And it's because it's because of our dad. Let's be honest. Amber, your grandpa Schick, he was someone who questioned everything. I mean, the guy cheated on his taxes every chance he got. so it's not as if this is some foreign thing to us. I mean, there was always some kind of, conspiracy going on in some way of, what the heck are we paying on it? This and that, the other, So I can't help believe that there was something going on. I truly believe that the royal family has the resource. They have and had the resources to make this happen. I firmly believe that. Now, did they do it? I don't know that I can say that with a firm, no doubt in my mind. But clearly, they didn't really care a whole lot about her. They were worried about what is this secret that she's getting ready to tell everybody all about. They knew where she was. They knew all her movements. I mean, please, we're being followed, and there are people listening to us right now because we're talking on the phone, and I'm wired to the internet, so we're clearly being listened to. The Schick Show is a big deal in the government's eyes.
Well, I have an iPhone, so they're most definitely. I'm probably on a list.
Oh, absolutely. All you.
Oh, I
iPhone
have no doubt when
users.
I look at Facebook after a bit that I'm going to have all kinds of Princess Diana stuff come up.
Oh my gosh,
Like
that is
ads
so true.
and stuff. All of a
Oh, yeah.
sudden up there,
Yeah.
like
So bizarre.
Or, and if not Princess Diana, then definitely Harry and all the turmoil he's going through with his brother. And so, but I mean, it is plausible that he did it, but I really don't think that they did. I don't believe they were heartbroken when it happened.
Oh,
They,
absolutely not.
yeah, yeah. I believe that that was probably a sigh of relief to an effect from the Queen, but again, you're also it's the flip side of the coin. Here you have two children that she was the mother of that you have to have some compassion for them and what their feelings are and
Did you?
how the outcome's going to be for them, which we all know what the outcome for them is because we've watched it for the past 26 years.
I just want to go back and rehash that. Did you say that they had compassion for the kids?
Yes, I think they would have had compassion for the kids because this is the mother of
Oh,
Harry and William.
I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know if I can. Mm.
that family doesn't seem very compassionate to me. They're like pawns, and they all have their title and their duties and their responsibilities, and like
I think
that's
the
it.
royal family, the royalty comes first in everything.
Yeah, and I think you're definitely right there. But I think everything is suppressed to the public. But what goes on behind closed doors when their servants aren't around, then who knows? But I still believe that the Queen would have had a little bit of feelings of how this is going to affect those two small children at the time. But she also, from the get-go, was let known that she could never express any kind of emotion publicly or to any of her servants or to the prime minister. So,
And I think at some point that's got to wear on you. Like, it's in the beginning, it's like, okay, I'm just doing my job. But at some point,
I think over time she got used to it. I think at first, when she's going through what she went through with Princess Margaret as her sister, sleeping around with a married man at the time and stuff like that, I think at first it probably affected her. But I think over the years she probably built up a wall around her heart to block out any kind of personal feelings about stuff like that. That everything was viewed as the crown and how it's perceived by the public and all of her, I don't know, constituents or whatever you want to call them, her people in her countries.
So the compassion piece could just be non-existent.
I think that's
Yeah,
kind of
but
why I
probably it could have
believe
been.
in the
But
possibility is because of the need to protect the crown or whatnot, and like there's a lot of scandal, other conspiracy theories around the royal family and crown and the what's that brother's name that allegedly likes little boys and all this other stuff. So
Andrew.
Yeah,
yes,
Prince
yes,
Andrew.
Andrew, and some other things there. So it's like, how much did Princess Di see, know, overhear that maybe protect the crown is why the incident happened. That's how your mind opens up to the possibilities.
Yeah, I imagine Diana was privy to a lot of information they didn't want out.
I think that's how all the
So,
theories start, though. It's like something like, well, what did they know? Is that why they like they're all of a sudden dead, and it's
Mhm.
kind of suspicious.
Yeah, and I think people have ulterior motives too in whatever they do.
Oh,
But
always.
still, I stand behind it. I just think it's you know it was the day for her to go, and that's why it happened.
Man, I don't know. Just, I think she had more work to do. I think she had a lot more to do, and
Oh,
maybe if we're going that route with it, I mean, anytime there's a celebrity death, there's going to be some kind of conspiracy theory revolving around it. You know, like there's conspiracy theory around Elvis's death for crying out loud. You
There's
know,
conspiracy theory around Kobe Bryant.
there's 100%. I mean, anytime there's a celebrity, someone who's in the public eye, anybody that has some sort of power, influence, um, connection, there's going to be a conspiracy theory around it. And will we ever know? Ah, you know, I think, you know, even though all these theories that revolve around Princess Di, they have the hallmark of a conspiracy. Um, I think it could be just happenstance, like you're saying, Joe. I can definitely see that, but I can definitely see the other side too, where there's motive, there's opportunity, and that's what opens it up to the conspiracy. Is there something else there that we're just not aware of, and are they trying to put it out there for us to just accept it and go, oh my gosh, that's so sad.
Well, I don't know. Did it ever happen on The Simpsons?
Oh, that's true. The Simpsons are kind of a precursor to. Oh my gosh. That is definitely complicated, that's for sure. And man, I appreciate you guys having a conversation with me about it, because I think I still have more questions than I have answers, though. Just to be honest, like like you're saying, there's questions around Kobe's death, but there was an accident.
I thought
well, I
I
think it all boils down to also that the royal family is high enough up there that how can you really reel it in and really find the truth, because they're almost basically untouchable.
Well, and I think they've proven time and time again that they're willing to cross some lines. They've shown they have a track record that they're willing to cross lines when it comes to family relationships and the expectations of those family members, whether it be the sister of the queen, whether it be the brother of the prince's brother, the original or the previous spare. Um, I think they've shown that the crown is bigger than any individual, that the royal family is bigger than any individual in it, and they're willing to protect that at all costs. Even if that means casting out, making sure that they show public disapproval for one's sister, one's brother, for uh, the one of the heirs to the throne, Harry, and his marriage with someone of color. So I mean, it's like, what the heck? Where do they are they are they willing to grow and change, or are they just always going to be here's how it is, and whether you like it
Yeah,
or not?
yeah. I still feel that no matter what the outcome is, whether it was a conspiracy theory or whether it was just her time to go, we will never, for one, we will never know the true 100% answer.
True.
And then another topic of conversation would probably be one day is Harry. What did Harry know that they needed to shut him down and get him out of there and push him away like they have? Because that's how I see this whole thing going. That they pushed him purposely away from the crown.
I think that's a little bit two-sided. I think he as much wants away from it as they want him away from it. I don't think he wants it. I think he just wants to be a human being. You know,
Yeah, and I do see that too.
where his brother, he's just going to be the good. He's going to be the good shepherd.
Well, he's probably learned a lot from his grandmother and how, he's next in line and he's got to shut everything down and just serve the people.
Mm-hmm.
But do they really serve the people? I don't really see them.
I don't
I don't
either.
I don't feel they really serve the people.
They're
I,
like a
I think
mascot.
I think they just sit back and take all the accolades of being the highnesses and that's it.
It's better to be the highness than the hiney.
Yeah, I would agree with that. So
I think the royal family just gets rich off the people and not serves the people. And
Yeah.
I
and
had met
yeah, but I definitely agree with that.
a girl
'Cause-
when I was in Orlando, Florida, who's from the UK. And if you watch the news, it's like, oh, England loves the royal family, right? But this girl was like, I can't stand the royal family. Most of us can't stand the royal family. We love Princess Di, and like, we all think they killed her. And I was like, well, that's not what they put on the news. The news makes it sound like everyone just loves the royal family. And according to her, the majority of the population despises them.
Hmm. It'd be really interesting to have somebody.
Need to do a
You know,
poll.
yeah, I mean, call her up. Let's talk to her. Let's get
I
her on the
actually
phone.
work with someone who's from England, and every once in a while we talk about some things.
Has she
So,
ever expressed anything about this whole scenario, or?
her family is a supporter of the crown. They do everything they can to show up for all the pomp and circumstance.
Interesting. I don't know that I
But
would. I mean, uh,
I think we from here we watch everything that goes on over there, the weddings and what the coronations or the birthday party or the jubilee thing, whatever. I think we watch it all because of all the pomp and circumstance that goes on with it, because we know it's going to be a big show and it's just going to be ungodly and it's going to be something unimaginable that we ourselves could do. And I think that's why most of the people from England show up. They're just there to watch the show. That, or maybe they're there to watch what my money's paying for this, so let's go see what it is.
well, I think they had definitely all showed up for the queen or the king's coronation because, well, it might be for some of them they've never seen that before, and if which he's quite a bit older. I mean, it's not like he's a young person that she was, but some of them realize, oh my gosh, there's a possibility we never see this again. So, and for some of them, that would be his age, they're like, holy crap, I won't ever see this again. So I think that part of it's kind of interesting, but boy, to show up. But I guess it's hard for. Here's the thing. I was thinking about this the other day. When we think about England, oftentimes you think America, England, Germany, all these other countries, and we're all about the same size, but we're not. So just Joe, you live in Texas, and driving across Texas is like driving across one of the European countries. You know,
Exactly. Yes.
so but think about people from California having to show up, or people from Indiana driving 13 hours out to DC to watch something, or even flying out there. It's going to be impossible because the airports just can't handle that massive amount of people moving that direction, right? So
Um,
I'm not going. I'm like, I'm not that guy. I'll watch it on TV. But some of these folks, they're coming from all parts of the country to come see this thing. But when we think about it that way, it's not like people from Oregon traveling to, Nashville,
DC.
yeah, or even to DC. That we're talking about totally just the size and the logistics that come along with that. It's not the same. America's huge. It's a ginormous, almost, I mean, it's what, third of a continent. It's the majority of that. Well, I guess Canada's landmass is pretty huge, but I mean, population wise, we're the majority of the North American continent. So, but England isn't that big. I don't know. How big is England? Is it about the size of Texas, I'm guessing? Is it even?
No,
I think it's
I don't think.
smaller.
Yeah, I think England's probably about the size of Florida, maybe in length,
I'm gonna look it up. This is where I
and
need.
that's coming from a gay guy talking about the length.
I was wondering why Florida had to be the one you compared that to. There are many other states that are more comparatively shaped.
Right, I was thinking the overall shape of the country and a state that would be similar to it.
Yeah,
You know, I'm like over here, like, I don't know, maybe Georgia.
there are 11 states that are bigger than the UK.
Really?
Yeah, 11 states. So just take those states themselves. So which I'll throw them out there. Um, Alaska, Texas, Oregon, Montana, Wyoming, Colorado, New Mexico, Arizona, California, and Michigan. Not one of those was Florida, Joe.
Well, objects in the mirror appear larger than what they may seem.
New York State is about the same size as England. New York State is land area is approximately 47,000 square miles. England is 500,000 square miles. And New York City and London have a comparable 8.8 million and 8.9 million, respectively. So New York State, that just blows me away.
So, yeah, like anyone in any part of the country can easily get to one of these events.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like you're not talking about going very far if you're just within state. So if something's happening, like we live in Indiana, well, you live in Wisconsin, but you grew up here in Indiana. Just traveling to Indianapolis from any part of the state, it's just a couple hours. You know, from Evansville to Indy, a couple hours. From Madison or Lawrenceburg to Indy, a couple hours. From Fort Wayne North, a couple hours. You can get there. I would imagine about the same thing going on there in New York or in England.
If I lived there, I would have showed up for all their events.
Yeah, I mean that
Yeah.
puts it into a whole different perspective when you think it's just the size of New York State.
I think
Yeah,
people are
when you
just
can
there
just
for the
jump in a
show.
car
Like,
and
they don't
drive.
care about any of it. Or I don't think they're there necessarily to support. I think they're just there for the show. To
Oh,
say,
sure.
hey, I was there.
Kind of like New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
Have you heard stories about? I'm just wondering, and oh my gosh, this brings up a whole nother idea. So that coronation, you'd have to get there. Like Joe, did you ever hear anything about how early people had to get there to be close?
Most of them camped out like days before they showed up.
So with that in mind, the days before to be able to get somewhere close to be able to see what's going on, people go to the New Year's Eve ball drop in. Sorry, Joe, didn't mean to mention ball drops with you on the phone, but anyway, people go to New York City to watch the ball drop on New Year's Eve, and I had my brother-in-law and his kids went there once. They stand in these corrals for hours. If you leave the corral, you may not
You
get
lose your
back.
spot. Yeah.
So they're wearing diapers.
Yeah, they go to crazy lengths to get a spot. And you can't leave the spot
Have
once
you ever
you're there.
done it? Have you
Oh,
ever gone?
no.
No.
I always wanted to. It's like bucket list until I found out I'm going to have to like pee in a bottle or a
Right.
diaper right there where I'm at.
It- yeah. Yeah.
There's alcohol involved. You know how many
It's
times you pee when you drink?
the
Well,
same as Black Friday. If you really want it, you're going to show up,
that's right,
and camp for however long. So, but I wouldn't show up that early for it.
man. Well, you're not going to get a good spot then.
You know,
You're going to have to watch it on one of the big screens, and at that point, why even go?
exactly. Just watch it on the TV, and
Right. I mean,
and a lot of the events like that, I'm perfectly happy watching on TV because the crowds, the cost to get there, the money you have to spend there, the inconveniences, and also losing your spots.
right. And Joe, I know you love the red carpet. You love is it the Oscars?
Yeah, the Oscars, yes.
Always, always, always showing up for the Oscars, and
Yeah.
you know, watching that on TV, and it's still a party.
Yeah.
But you
If
don't
I
have to
have
wear
my
a
own little
diaper.
party. Yeah.
You don't have to wear a diaper at home. I mean, if you do, that's up to
Yeah.
you. I'm not judging, but
Yeah.
like
They have commercial breaks.
that's right. Oh God. Well, that's really interesting. I don't know. I know we've kind of gone from, you know, Princess Di and conspiracy to now, you know, are we going to show up for these big events? But boy, that really made me think, and that's kind of how the Schick show goes. By the way, is it never ends up the way we intended. It kind of always goes its own direction, which I'm okay with.
But that's how conspiracy theories work, because it's called going down the rabbit hole, and you go one place, next thing you know, you're over here, and then you're
Boy,
over here.
I I'm glad you're here because like that didn't even enter my mind. But we did definitely go down a little rabbit hole here, just thinking about like the size of England compared to the, you know, the United States, and are we going to show up to a big event and wear a diaper and stand in a corral all night and, you know, pee in a bottle in front of people we don't know, who are probably peeing themselves and don't care and just smelling like urine everywhere. It's really
Well, I wouldn't
bizarre.
have to pee in a bottle because I collect antique urinals, hospital
Oh,
bed
that's
urinals.
true. You
I
just
just
carry one around with
bring
you.
bring the 24 collection that I have in a big old bag, and um,
Excuse me.
you
You're not
know,
gonna get through the metal detector, Joe.
well, that's true because out of the 24, I think 20 of them are metal.
That's
'Cause
right.
the glass ones and ceramic ones are very rare finds.
It's so weird. So weird. I like it though. I like it. Have we missed anything? Amber, we can't. They still can't see you shake your head.
I'm thinking.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't think out loud.
Podcasting's so weird. Like
Uh,
I always have to, you
I
know.
don't think we missed anything. Like,
I don't either. I mean,
there's like a
Well,
lot
I
of
have to
Princess
admit
Di
that
stuff. And
I'm a podcast virgin 100%. I've never listened to one, and this is the first time I've been involved in one. The closest I've really gotten to a podcast, and here's another rabbit hole to go down, is watching Only Murders in the Building.
oh, I love Only
There's,
Murders in the Building.
there's a plug for them, so which their new season just came out, and I haven't had a chance to watch it because I'm watching something else.
No, it didn't. Are you serious?
I think August 8th. It came out.
Oh my God. I'm gonna have to go check it out. I love. Have you watched this
No,
show?
is it a show or a
Yeah, it's
podcast?
a show. No, it's a show.
No, I haven't
It's,
it's a
watched it.
show about podcasts.
yeah, it's and based around a murder that happened in this apartment building. It's Steve Martin, Martin Lawrence. Is that who that is?
Yeah, and then Selena Gomez.
Selena Gomez. That's the three main characters, and there's a lot of cool characters that come into play with it. Oh, it's so good. There's a couple seasons out, and evidently there's a third. I've got to
Yeah,
look and
it just
see.
came out. Yeah,
Huh.
yeah. Google it. God, how did we ever live without Google
Uh,
and a cell phone in our hand?
I just listen to murder podcasts.
oh yeah, absolutely.
Which,
Huge fan of that.
that's another podcast idea for you, Scott. Is what we grew up with compared to what our kids now have
Oh,
at their fingertips.
oh, Joe. Like, I was just
I mean,
talking to George Hall yesterday out at Bill's house, and in 1992, me and Corey Dobbles we went to Myrtle Beach in an Olds Delta 88, the blue one I had, and I'd bought this off a friend of mine. I bought it off of Kent Norton, and they had used it as a like it had been a newspaper delivery car. Like this thing had 200,000 miles on it. It was pretty ratted out by the time it got to me. Well, I took it to George because that's what we were driving to Myrtle Beach, and George was good friends with Bill, and still is. And George checks the brakes, finds me some used tires to put on it. You know, make sure everything's good to go for these two 18-year-old boys to travel 12, 13 hours to Myrtle Beach for a week for spring break of their high school year without cell phones, without GPS, without, you know, anything but Little Debbie's, dated Little Debbie's that Scott had, well, me. When I talk about myself in third person, it's kind of weird sometimes. But when I bought these from Joe and Bill, because Joe, you and Bill both had Little Debbie routes at the time,
uh-huh.
and we had a trunk load of all of the expired Little Debbies in that car. And man, we were some of the most popular people in Myrtle Beach that week because we had the snacks.
Uh, uh, that's funny. I didn't know that.
Oh man, we told everybody we were Ball State students and that we were like freshmen, sophomores at Ball State. We were Ball State students, and there was these people from Akron College, and we hung out with them all week. In fact, we had to bail one out of jail one night. But anyway, like that's a whole nother episode as well. But yeah, so we didn't have a cell phone. If something would have happened, how? And we sure didn't have like we didn't have information tattooed to us or something to where, call our parents if something happens. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
I can't imagine my girls, either one of them, coming to me and going, "Hey, Dad, do you care if we go to Myrtle Beach for a week on spring break with a couple of our buddies?"
Yeah, well, let alone knowing what it's like to just be a teenager in your regular town, being out in the country and have to knock on someone's door way out in the country. Can you call my mom and dad? My car's broke down.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Right. That's definitely something that's coming. But anyhow, Only Murders in the Building. It is. It's a new season. Just came out on the 8th. Season episode 1 and 2. Huh.
Yeah, that's yesterday's information. I told you that like 20 minutes ago.
Yeah, I looked it up and it's still here in front of me and I'm looking at it.
Uh-huh.
The new one comes out on the 15th, which is Tuesday. I am so pumped. I love that show. Amber, you got to watch it. All my listeners need to watch Only Murderers in the Building.
What's the like cliff notes on it? Not to give away like no spoiler alerts, but kind of like plot background.
Basically, someone gets killed and they're running through their conspiracy theories of who committed the murder.
This thing has
And
just
then, of
come
course,
full
another.
circle.
Yeah.
By accident. It came full circle.
And this is on what?
Hulu.
It's Hulu.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you have Hulu?
I do.
Okay.
I got Hulu, Netflix, Peacock. What other ones are out there?
Yeah, you got the full.
There's Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
Don't have that one.
You don't have Prime.
No.
There's a
There's
conspiracy.
Disney Plus.
I don't have. I think I have.
I got Disney Plus.
I've never watched it.
The reason I'm on Prime is I ain't got nobody's password to skis off of. To be completely honest with you.
Jocelyn just paid us $8 a month so she could have the extra Netflix at their house. She's like, "How much is it?" And I said, "That's like another $8. I'll just pay it. I'll pay it with the rent. I'll just give you another $8."
So did they actually call you out on that Netflix thing that someone from another address is using your Netflix account and you had to start paying?
Yes.
Really?
Really?
Yeah. Like they weren't able to log in, so I had to go into Netflix and put that together.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if I want to share this, hon. So a while back, I got this message about how I needed to put in some sort of data because this address, blah, 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 and linking to the account. So it wasn't working anymore. And then like a week later, now I'm back to being able to use it.
With Netflix?
Yeah.
Do you live in an apartment or?
Yeah.
Like, I wonder if you're just close enough. Are you close to the person that you're sharing?
No.
Netflix? Oh, interesting. Huh. I don't know.
Yeah, the most exciting thing that ever happened to me was I lived close enough to someone when I lived in Kokomo, Indiana, that I was able to use their internet.
Oh, God, that's so good.
They didn't have it protected. I used their internet for probably at least 9 months until they finally moved, and then I was pissed.
Oh, yeah. Back when internet first came out, nobody secured that.
No.
Yeah.
No. I just read something the other day that if you have, it was like how quick can AI, and this is a whole nother rabbit hole thing. AI is a whole nother episode I'd love to do, but AI can tear apart your like a four letter password in less than a second. 6 characters that is just letters. It takes like a half a second. But if you have 6 characters and one of those is like a number, it takes it 2 seconds. If one of those is a number and a special character, it takes it like 7 seconds. But once you get up to the 8 character with multiple numbers or special characters, it takes it like years. Or, I'm sorry, when you get to 12 characters, like 8 characters, it's still like days or maybe, weeks. But once you get to that 12 character mark, like my password is, oh, you thought of it, like, you're right.
What is your password?
It is, it's GOPHUEURSE, but the E is turned around as a 3, LF. And I can pronounce that if you need me to. But I prefer not
You
to.
better go. You better go get your money out of your account.
I used to tell all the kids at Oak Hill, they'd ask me what the password was for like and I did it at Madison as well. What's the password? What's the school password, Mr. Schick, for the internet? We can't get internet on our phones. I'd say it's Oak Hill. It's O. It's capital O, like, but it's a 0, AK, and then an H, but it's a uppercase H, 1, exclamation point, 2023. They would take 20 minutes and come back around to me and go, that didn't work. I go, are you serious? They must have changed it. And so I would give them another one that would just spell Oak Hill 2023, but in a different way. And I do the same thing at Madison. I was always giving them a fake password. You'd be surprised how long 7th and 8th graders will try an internet password that somewhere in their mind they have to know is bogus. But they'll still try it. Sometimes up to an hour. Over and over again. It didn't work. It's still not working. Well, I don't know. I'll have to find out if they changed it. So anyway, guys, man, we've touched on some really important stuff here. I'm sorry, Joe, but I'm going back to Only Murders in the Buildings back on TV. I'm excited. I've been waiting. Do you guys watch? No, I don't want to start that because we'll be here for a while. But I was just going to ask, do you guys watch? So I'm going to ask anyway. But do you guys watch like crime shows? Like shows, not like, Unsolved Mysteries, which I watch that too. But do you guys watch that stuff?
I'll watch 2020 every once in a while if the crime sounds interesting to me.
Yeah. So I
watch. And interesting to me usually would be something that probably either occurred in Indiana or Texas.
Ah, true. Oh man.
I watch the ID channel, or I used to.
I've seen that on like my Samsung TV channels. I've seen the ID channel, but I have not watched it.
I actually work with a guy whose ex-girlfriend was actually featured in one of these. Yeah.
Wow. That's crazy.
He showed us the episode.
Isn't it weird when it's somebody you're connected to?
I was like, whoa, dude. I was like, man.
Like even like a,
I was like, that was a close one, bro. That could have been you.
That's like a level.
Well, Amber, you're going to have to tell us what episode it was so we can say, hey, our niece knows the guy who dated this girl.
I'll have to get a hold of him. I'll find out, and I'll let you guys know.
Yeah, I'll put it in the episode
Because, that's
notes.
what we all try to figure out our connection to something, That's what our life is about.
Well, it used to be called what? 7 degrees from
6.
6 degrees of Kevin Bacon. Is that what it was, Joe?
Yeah. Why was it Kevin Bacon though?
I don't know.
Because Kevin Bacon is like been in a show with everybody who's been in other movies, and
I see.
And it's funny. Ian and I just had this discussion, and I was telling him how many, or he figured out how many steps away from Kevin Bacon he was in his current job out in Los Angeles. So it was kind of funny, and he had never heard of it before.
Oh, that's so
And
weird.
that sent him down a whole new rabbit hole, figuring out how far away from Kevin Bacon he was. So
he's like, wait a minute. I wear a size 13 shoes, so I had to pick.
No.
That's so weird. But now you don't have to even worry about Kevin Bacon. All you have to do is, like on LinkedIn, it tells you, how many people away from them you are. They're like a third level contact or something. They know someone that knows somebody. And I always remind somebody, tell somebody that's going to tell somebody that's going to tell somebody, because I know somebody. Amber, they can't hear you smile on here either. Like,
That wasn't a smile. I think that was like, I'm looking at you like you're an idiot.
Yeah, you're shaking your head like, what the hell?
What the hell just happened in here? All right, guys. Well, hey, thanks everybody for tuning into the Schick Show Cubed. It's the Schick Show Cubed today. Thanks for listening in. We appreciate you guys. And that's going to be a wrap, folks. If I missed anything, let me know. Just shoot me a message. You know how to get a hold of me. It's the real Mr. Schick on the gram and the Twitter and just Scott Schick on Facebook. I am actually starting a new Facebook page called The Schick Show. I don't know a whole lot about this whole social media stuff, but I'm trying to fumble through it. The other day, oh my God, Katie will be so proud. Speaking of Schicks, but Katie had sent me a message. She was so frustrated with the way I was posting things on Instagram. I think she was truly frustrated because she sent me a text and she gives me this whole list of stuff. And at the end of it, she says, and then you need to put the link in bio on Instagram, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, what the hell is a link?
Yeah, she was telling me about that.
So,
and see, we can learn from these young kids.
Let me tell you what I did, because this is this is how dumb I am when it comes to this stuff. I went to the person I had on the podcast. His name's Randy Seahigh. It was a football coach, and I went to his LinkedIn bio, and I posted a link to his LinkedIn bio. Well, evidently that was not what she intended. What she was looking for was the link in bio, meaning, and I had to have Jocelyn Madison help me with it, that there's a spot in your bio in Instagram. Are you familiar with this, Amber?
Yeah, it'll send you to someone's website or what have you.
Blew me away. Didn't know it existed until this week.
LinkedIn bio.
Well, it was a text, so it could have been a LinkedIn bio. So I thought,
It's
okay.
easy to misconstrue.
Do what?
I would have done. That's easy to misconstrue. I would have done the same thing because I hardly go. I never really go on LinkedIn.
Yeah, me either. So I was like, oh, well, that makes sense. I mean, people want to learn more about Randy and his professional life. Then go to LinkedIn. They can't hear you laugh. That's the good news. They can hear you laughing. So then I find out from my girls that there's that spot, and then Jocelyn is now trying to help me with some kind of link tree or something where like it. So I do have.
Yeah, I've seen those.
Yeah. So now I have scottschick.com as a link in my bio, not my LinkedIn bio. So I'm getting there. Like I said, I need an intern, folks. Someone who appreciates the Schick Show and wants to help, just a lowly podcaster.
All right, well, so I make, so much a year, and then I'll need a 20% commission.
Oh, my God.
I think a company car would be nice, too.
100%.
Because if you're going to have to run errands, you'll need that company car.
So what I'll do is right now, so I've said on previous episodes that I wasn't going to do ads. But a friend of mine, a new friend of mine, he and I were talking, and we were talking about a podcast he had called the NOM Syndicate. NOM, N-O-M Syndicate. So it's a podcast about food. So they just have discussions about food, and it's a really cool podcast. And they're just local guys. But I was telling him about just my analytics, number of listeners I have, number of listens I've had. And he's like, dude, just get a Spotify ad. Like, just tell Spotify you want to do an ad. You read it yourself. It's going to be an ad for Spotify, and you're going to get paid for it. You already use it. You already talk about it. He said, I've listened to your podcast. You talk about using Spotify. So why not get paid for it? Well, let me tell you, folks, I did. And to this date, we're, in the past 30 days, I'm reeling it in. I mean, it's kind of embarrassing to share the amount of ad revenue I've brought in over the past 14 days or so. I mean, right now, just so y'all know, we're
Oh,
recording. It's the 13th of August, and I started this August 1st, and I've made 79 cents.
oh, I was going to say $5 is $5, but yeah,
So, but hey, you know what? I'm a paid podcaster.
yeah.
I can't say the same.
I'm a professional podcaster. So you're welcome, folks. Joe, you're welcome. You have been introduced to podcasting by a paid professional podcaster.
Yeah,
And
and Amber and I would like our cut for this episode, please.
yeah, absolutely. I'll
Uh,
give that to her on the way out. 100%.
Yes, what is a third of 79 cents?
Well, you don't get the whole 79 cents because you've been in here for an hour.
I said a third.
You don't get a third of the whole 79.
yeah.
That's for the whole
I'd
month.
like to renegotiate this
That's for
contract.
2 weeks. That's 2 weeks earnings.
Well, Amber, you're not going to get your 10 cents worth. So,
All right, everybody. Well, that's it. We rambled on about a whole lot of nothing for a while, but at the end of the day, I miss Princess Di. I do. I think she was an incredible person and did a lot of good stuff for the world. And hopefully the royal family continues. It gives us something to talk about, right? Any last words, guys?
no, thanks for listening.
Oh man, you're welcome.
Listen to my brother.
Oh,
Listen
you
to my
never-
brother all the time.
Joe, you've never even listened to your brother.
Well, I'm sorry, I have not, but I keep planning to. But my job keeps me very busy,
I
and
understand.
then there's Netflix to watch and Hulu. So I just
Now there's only
I have
one.
I have a tight schedule.
I get it. But
I
listen,
will listen though.
no, you don't. I don't need that. I don't. I appreciate you being on here.
I've always wanted to be a supporter. When I was in high school, I was an athletic supporter.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, you always had the itch to be a jock.
Yeah.
You never had the jock itch.
Yeah.
That's probably the best. For the best.
But
Amber,
you can always show your support in many different ways.
that's so true. Amber, you got anything?
Yeah, follow on Spotify, Apple,
Yeah,
Tunes, right?
that's right. Follow me. Just hit the follow button. That's all you got to do. Just
Hit
But
the
not
book
on
of
LinkedIn
faces.
though.
yeah, you don't have to follow me on the LinkedIn bio. But you can follow me on LinkedIn. Come find me. I'll see. It shows you who looked at you.
Gonna go rogue. I don't know if you've done this before, but if y'all have any conspiracy theories or topics you'd like to hear,
Oh man.
send it in.
Yeah, shoot me an email. Shoot me a message on the places, all the socials. Big
Drop
time.
your comments here.
Yeah, man. You guys are plugging my show better than me. I might have to use this as like my outro plug from now on. I'll just clip this out and maybe I'll give it to Ian. He'll make a song out of it.
Yeah. Yeah. Will you get paid for your own advertising?
I could. Yeah, I could. If I went out and said, hey, Jimmy's corner store, do you want to advertise on the Schick show? I'm sure I could. It's a lot of work. I like just talking about them. I like talking about my favorite stuff, and it's kind of cool to get paid for it. But I don't know. At some point, you're like, do I want to listen to ads? I don't know.
Not really.
Yeah, I don't know that I noticed. I listen to a lot of different podcasts and a lot of different things. But Netflix has really spoiled us where we don't have to listen to ads anymore.
You know, like the podcast I listen to don't do as much ads. Like Dan Bongino, he'll be like, "Hey, this latest thing, blah blah blah, VPN. Use code Bongino for 10% off." And that's like,
Boy, he just got an ad on my show.
but
You
like
should charge him for it.
No kidding.
somehow he just like reps different products on his show, and then there's like a code that people use that somehow he probably gets
Yeah,
kickback.
It's an affiliate.
And it takes
program.
like 1 minute because he just rambles through it real quick in the beginning of the show, and then like you never hear an ad again.
Well, maybe I'll look into affiliate marketing. But that's a lot of work, and I just started a new job, and I'd really like to, I'll make a plug for educational furniture. Make sure you reach out for any of your office, hotel, or your healthcare or any professional, commercial furniture stuff needs. I'm not a very good advocate for them right now. Everybody talks about, oh, what's your elevator pitch? What do you need, dude?
The elevator pitch.
You could sell ice to an Eskimo. Eskimos don't need ice. Have you not noticed that? They need a coat. Anyway, God, it's going to get stupid here real quick. Maybe it already has for the past hour and 12 minutes. Holy moly. I did start recording as soon as we walked in the room, so some of this will get...
True, yeah, a lot of that's gonna go.
No, I don't do a whole lot of cutting, Amber. So all that stuff you said, that happened for everyone to hear. All right, folks, we're out of here. Thanks for listening. I appreciate you. And make sure you go back and listen to all the old episodes. There's some good stuff out there. And one thing, I just want to throw this out there. A friend of mine that I work with, his name's Ethan. Ethan mentioned the number of times I say, man. So I heard myself say it a number of times during this episode, and it's something I've got to get better at, is not saying, man. Like when in the beginning, and you guys don't know because neither one of you have even listened to the 15 or so podcasts I've done. But in the beginning, it's, man, I'm
That's
so
not
excited.
true. I listened to 3 minutes of one of them.
Oh, you did? Thank you. I
Yeah.
appreciate you being a listener. But I would say, so excited. And I didn't realize I could be that excited in 30 minutes. So now I don't get that excited anymore. So now I've got to work on, man. But I noticed myself saying it numerous times in this episode too. But Joe, I know you got a busy life, and taking an hour and 13 minutes out of it to just ramble on about stuff that, we can't change, and probably really isn't going to impact anybody's life in any big way. But I sure appreciate it. Amber, same thing to you. I know you got a busy schedule, and all the stuff you do, and traveling down here from the big W. And so I appreciate you guys. Thanks for being here. Thanks everybody for listening. We're out.
Or where the window,
So
and even if you start to roll up the window, then they just hold on to the damn window. It's like, Jesus Christ, we're trying to leave.
Joe, this dude has made 15 episodes that his whole family don't even listen to, and he's got coasters that say the Schick Show.
What'd you call it, Amber? What kind of goodbye was this?
Southern.
Oh, Southern goodbye.
Oh.
That's good. Yeah, well, it was a 17-minute goodbye. Yeah,
Well,
everybody...
as long as they're listening to the very end of the goodbye until you hit that stop button, that's all that matters.
There was one episode where I was going to start my outro music, because because I've got intro and outro stuff that are part of every episode, and I was gonna just start the outro music and then just stop it, but I was afraid everybody would hit pause or stop the episode and miss something. So I thought, oh, that's probably not the best way to do that. Because they're going to miss some good stuff that was at the end, but it was another Southern goodbye ending. That's interesting. So I appreciate you doing that. Just so you know, we are recording again. I just wanted you to know that.
Why are we recording?
I was just going to say, you need to
is,
record these after conversations as the after show,
yeah,
behind the scenes.
This is going to be the. I'm going to release this as like a little clip to let everybody know they need to listen in for the upcoming episode. So I'm gonna start doing this from now on, so everybody knows what happens afterwards.
Yeah, they do that on Bravo on the Andy Cohen show.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. But again, you have to go to their website to watch it.
Oh.
It's not like you have to go to a special place to watch it. But
Ooh, that could get traffic to your page.
because my life used to be scheduled around the Real Housewives of whatever city, until I finally put a stop to it in 2016. I'm like, oh my God, Joe, you got to get a life. You can't watch this table flipping shit all the time. So I expanded myself and I discovered Netflix and Hulu, and now that's my life.
We're proud of you. We're glad that has happened.
I broke my addiction, and then of course I had a big crush on Andy Cohen. So I had to watch his show. I don't even remember what it's called now, but my life really revolved around the Real Housewives. So,
well, everybody has their vices,
Yeah, can't go out tonight. The Real Housewives of New Jersey is on. Can you hit me up? On I think Wednesday night. I don't like the Real Housewives of Orange County that well. So I'll skip their episode. But yeah,
so good. It's kind of like Aunt Charlene coming over. Ooh,
yeah. Like we would just drive on by when we'd see her car out front.
That's right.
And when Mom called me to let me know she'd passed, I said, "Well, are we going to the funeral or are we driving by?"
I did not know that. That's so good.
No.
That's so good. All right, well, I'm gonna let you go. I gotta get out of here. Amber's.
All right, love you guys.
Amber's ears are sweating.
Yeah, love you, Joe. See you around.
All right, buddy. See you. Love you. Bye.
I don't know if it's sweat or just